Well, hello, listeners. Today is Thursday, August the 12th. This will be episode 15 of the Sport Fanatics podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm J. Mike.
We're going to talk about, we're going to wrap up the Olympics, talk about the final medal count, and also look ahead to a few changes that'll be coming to our show and a little surprise coming. But for now, welcome back.
We're back.
All right, well, last week we had a pre-recorded episode. This week we're actually recording a little bit early as well, but it's the same week. Next week will be another pre-recorded episode, but this is all due to the... Well, we've had an interesting schedule this 2 weeks. I've been out of town. I'm about to be out of town again. On top of that, we've got some changes coming that I mentioned. We'll talk about that later. But first, we'll get to talking about the Olympics. So the final medal count was 113 for the USA, 88 for China, and 71 for the Olympians from Russia. Now, gold was really close. USA got 39 gold medals. China got 38. So only one difference there. Then Japan, third with 27. In the silver category, USA had 41, China 32, and the Russian Olympians 28. For bronze, USA had 33. The Olympians from Russia had 23, and Great Britain had 22. So USA led every category, though gold was very close between the USA and China.
And just like Apollo Creed said in the 1985 Rocky IV film, before he was tragically killed by a Russian boxer that was on steroids, never forget that the US of A has the best athletes. So he's having that conversation with Drago. And he said to him and his Russian counterparts, I guess I could say, I just want to show them all who has the best athletes. He's talking about the US of A.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on, before they fought to bring in James Brown, and James Brown said, I live in America. Living in America. Only in America. Yeah, that's ironic too. Then in Rocky IV, you get the other boxing promoter. And he keeps saying only in America.
Yeah.
So how about that?
I'll be honest, I don't remember Rocky IV. It's been so long since I've...
Oh, that's my favorite.
Really?
Favorite out of all six, because then you got the Creed trilogy that's going on.
Yeah, well, Creed has been really good, but I remember thinking the general consensus was like each one got kind of a lot of people think they get worse and worse with each one until Creed, and then they really like Creed, but it's been so long since I've seen them, I can't judge. So
I love Rocky IV though. It's my favorite out of the 6 Rocky films anyway. But yeah, I had to throw that James Brown in there. Can't help myself. But I'll tell you what, Chris, I found some interesting things from the USA water polo team.
Oh, okay.
That hasn't been discussed. Ashley Johnson was the top goalkeeper at the Tokyo Olympic Games, had an Olympic record of 80 saves, including 11 saves in the final victory over Spain that won them the gold medal
Oh, wow. Okay.
in water polo. And then you have Maddie Musselman earning MVP honors at the Tokyo Olympics. She was tied for second overall with 18 goals scored. She had 5 goals in the semifinal against ROC and 3 more in the final against Spain. All a part of a third straight gold medal for the Team USA water polo team.
Oh, interesting.
And then one more, Chris. 3 players finished with 2 goals each.
Well, speaking of boxing, they finished up with boxing on the last day. In the women's lightweight, Kelly Harrington of Ireland won. In the men's lightweight, Andy Cruz of Cuba won. Women's middleweight, Lauren Price of Great Britain got the gold. And in men's super heavyweight, Bakodir Jalalov, I think that's how you say it, from Uzbekistan,
Wow.
won.
I have never heard of that country.
Oh, yeah, Uzbekistan. It's like,
It's like somebody's name keeps getting thrown out, and you go, what? Never heard of them. But how about this? The U.S. women's national team made history by bringing home its first Olympic gold medal in USA women's volleyball.
it's hard to believe it. It was their first time. That's cool though.
It's very neat, and like you said, Chris, very crazy that this is only the first time that the women's volleyball team has ever won gold in the Olympics for the USA.
Because you feel like women's volleyball, like high school volleyball for girls, is pretty common around, in the USA.
Sure is.
So you'd figure it'd be pretty good at it. But I did see where on the men's side, Poland was really favored to win, and they got upset by France.
Allez-vous français?
So they got knocked out by them. Now, some things USA was heavily favored, of course, basketball, men and women,
Yes.
and they ended up taking it home in both.
Yes, and the women's basketball team, that was their 7th straight gold medal in the Olympics. So congratulations to the ladies for bringing home yet another gold medal in women's basketball. It's very, very impressive streak that they have going on right now.
They beat the home country Japanese team.
Which it seemed like in the major sports, you had USA taking on Japan for the gold medal.
And it was also in baseball.
It was.
And Japan won that one.
Japan did. Japan won that one 2-0 in a one of them tight, old-fashioned pitcher duels that went down to the wire there. Mm-hmm. So, tough loss for the U.S. of A, but they at least come away with the silver medal, which went along with their high but top medal count in the silver medal category, like you just stated, Chris.
And I mean, when it comes to baseball, not really any shame in losing to Japan, especially in Japan. Right. We know that they have good baseball players.
They do.
Really good baseball players.
They do, and you consider USA and Japan the top 2 countries that produce baseball talent, but you also can't forget about the Dominican Republics, the
Latin
Puerto
America.
Ricos, the Venezuelas. It's just, at the end of the day, Japan took advantage of everything being in their country, and pretty much in the major sports, they were right there competing with the USA for the gold medal. So Japan used the home field really to their advantage. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, they got us in baseball, Chris, 2-0.
Yeah, but it's fine.
We got them in basketball. Yeah, we swept them in basketball. So,
and then in men's basketball, USA pulled it out. I'm trying to remember who it was we beat.
Oh, it was France.
Okay, that's right. I forgot it was France.
It was France. Kevin Durant had a great game, as you would imagine, for the U.S. team. And I can't thank him enough for putting aside what was obviously a debilitating blow when he had to carry the Nets the rest of that series against the eventual champion Milwaukee Bucks, and gave it everything he had. And of course, he's gassed there in overtime, and he shoots that air ball, and game over. Net season is over. So you have to think that he really didn't want to compete in the Olympics, and just have a reset, and start to rest and figure things out for next NBA season. But man, credit him for representing our country on the grand stage in the Olympics in Tokyo.
It's always nice when we can get a lot of the top NBA players to volunteer to go out and
in my opinion, he's the best player on the planet. Of course, that's just my opinion, but he obviously can score at such a high, efficient level. He's consistent. You know what you're getting from him night in and night out. And he absolutely was the game changer for this USA team, joining these guys in Tokyo. So credit him and the rest of that USA men's basketball team for getting over what was such a rough start there in just the exhibition, getting their feet wet, playing with each other, because I know a lot of them aren't teammates, and
it takes a while to get used to each other and to gel as a team.
Yes, and credit Coach Greg Popovich for really keeping these guys going, not getting them discouraged and whatnot, just really keeping them focused and really driving them to be the best players that they can be, because we all know the talent that these players have, but just credit him for pushing all the right buttons, and credit the team for really coming together and playing exceptional basketball on their way to a gold medal. I would like to give you a great stat here, and that is Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday became only the second pair of teammates to win an NBA championship and an Olympic gold medal.
Oh, wow.
Literally back to back. They joined, guess who? Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. from the 92 Dream Team.
That's an incredible duo to join.
And so that's just incredible, because we all know the run that they had and how exceptional they played. in that run, and just joining elite company there is just outstanding. And once again, congratulations to those guys, Kevin Durant, Coach Pop, and the entire USA men's basketball team on another gold medal.
Yeah, every gold medal, each individual one was the one that put us over the top.
Yes.
To just be one ahead in the gold count. So every medal counts. Another one that sort of a team thing. We did also get gold in the 400 meter relay.
Oh,
which is
nice.
Always fun to watch those and watch them hand the baton off. And I think in the past we'd had issues with penalties in relay, but not this year. They got it together and won gold.
And that was with Allison Phoenix, right? For the women's relay team.
Oh, I was looking at the men's.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
just remember hearing and seeing a lot of Allison Phoenix.
In the women's,
which I know that she added 400 meter bronze medal.
Yeah, I don't see her on the women's relay final, at least the 100 meter.
I know in the 4x400 relay, they delivered a gold medal in the final track of that session.
Yeah, they did, and the women got silver in the 4x100 meter. So track and field coming out.
But yeah,
good.
That Allison Phoenix, seems like she's been running track for forever. Just been such a great track athlete for the U.S.
Mm-mm. Well, and it's cool you have those athletes who will stick around for it feels like so many Olympic cycles.
Oh yeah,
and stay competitive or even on top of their game.
Yeah, I'm just hoping we see Usain Bolt back,
Well, yeah, I guess he's
and of course
we did get gold in that 4x400 meter relay. So in the women's 4x400 meter relay. So
that's great.
Yeah. Let's see, any other, kind of looking at the back half of that week to see if there's any other interesting. USA got bronze in the women's soccer. Of course, we're hoping for gold there, but at least they came away with a medal.
Yeah, considering they won FIBA the last time out, didn't they?
Yeah.
They won the FIBA World Cup.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, when it comes to soccer, I feel like the World Cup is a little bit more, I guess, focus put on anyway, of course. But
yeah, which you kind of hate to see that, though, because it really takes away from the Olympics with soccer.
Yeah, but for both the men and women.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times it's the same teams, but
and then you had the Euros. The Euro soccer championships going on before the Olympics.
Yep.
And so, like you said, Chris, that also took away from men's soccer in the Olympics. So you just really hate to see that, and especially see that tournament before the Olympics even began.
Well, that's one thing that also kind of worries me about the World Baseball Classic, as much fun as it is. If we could consistently keep baseball in the Olympics, I'd rather kind of not have it. But if we can't keep it in there consistently, like has been the case, then it's nice to have the World Baseball Classic at least.
And the closing ceremony was last night, wasn't it, Chris?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're recording on Monday, and it just wrapped up yesterday. 2 weeks have passed and had
Yeah,
a bunch of
that's
games
That's right. 2 weeks.
and like I said, USA ended up coming out on top in the medals with 113 total.
Incredible.
Oh yeah.
Incredible.
And China second with 88, and the the Olympians from Russia with 71. I guess I'll mention some of the best of the rest here
Okay.
before we close out. Great Britain had 65 medals, Japan 58, Australia 46, Italy 40, Germany 37, Netherlands 36, and France 33. Those are your top 10.
Okay.
And just missing out on the top 10, I got to mention them because they're our neighbor, but Canada. They
Yes.
finished 11th.
Oh, Canada.
But there's your top 10. And as always, really fun to watch all these athletes from other countries come together and
Yes.
compete against each other. And
Nothing like it.
exactly. I mean, I love the competition, but I also love how there's camaraderie there. Like you'll see Olympians from other countries, mingle and
Oh, yeah.
talk and console each other even sometimes if somebody has a rough day. So I love the Olympics and what they represent and what they do. It's a fun time,
And it's especially great that they were able to go through with it, considering what's all going on with this COVID variant. And so it was truly a blessing for them to get these Olympic games underway and keep everybody safe, and
yeah,
and they were just able to execute it and finish it off well.
Yeah.
and do a great job with all of that. So thank you to the Olympic Committee and Tokyo
yeah.
for health and safety stuff with the people who did attend. I'm sure it wasn't that many
Yeah, it was
for each event,
pretty sparse,
but
understandably.
yeah, just a great job in general for them doing everything they could to be able to put on such a great event, considering what's going on right now with the virus.
And even with the 1 year delay to keep everything
That as well.
on track. So hopefully, fun part now is don't even have to wait a full 4 years for the next Summer Olympics. We're just 3 years away.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's your Olympic discussion. 2020 Olympics in Tokyo wrapped up.
USA, USA, USA.
All right, well, we're going to do something a little bit different here. Going to talk about some changes coming up. So first of all, we're going to be going back to once a week for Sport Fanatics, like the national discussion. It'll probably be on Thursdays moving forward. However, we're also going to start doing a more local show. If you happen to listen to us in the North Mississippi area, we're the working title is North Mississippi Sport Fanatics, but we'll see what the final name may be. But that's what we're sort of working with for now.
Yeah, and if y'all have any better ideas, feel free to shout us out.
Yeah, add us on Twitter or something.
Right, and we'll give you our social media accounts at the end of the show, but
it'd have to be something fitting for just North
yes,
Mississippi, because that's what we're going to focus on. And we're going to basically kick off with, the high school kickoff with football coming up here shortly.
It sure is, with football games in the state of Mississippi getting underway on August the 27th of this month.
Yeah, it's
So there towards the end of this month, we will get back into the swing of things with high school football.
so we'll probably be coming out on probably Mondays with the local stuff.
Yeah.
Because we don't. I mean, it's not like there's going to be Monday night football with your local teams or whatever. So Monday seems like a good time because most.
Oh man, and I miss Hank Williams doing the "Are you ready for some football?" Man, I miss that.
But if you know, and local stuff, it tends to happen on the weekend. So Monday seems like a good day to talk about that. And we've had quite a bit of interest directed our way into focusing more on local sports and
Oh yes.
and kids coming up. So
Yeah, and that's what it should be about, Chris. It should be about these young players. You know, highlighting them for the accomplishments that they do. Because trust me, I never played sports when I was in middle through high school, but I was in the band. And let me tell you, it does take away a good chunk of your time, let alone your studies. So for these boys and girls to really be able to lock in and do both well,
I'm impressed.
kudos to them, man.
I'm impressed with these kids who can manage to be not just on a sports team, but also have good grades, even
Yes.
sometimes on an honor list of some sort.
Which it didn't happen for me, but I still got through it.
But then on top of both of those two, they'll have like a really good, social life still going on. They still have time to like kick back and
Oh yeah.
have a social life still. So
And that senior project kicked my butt. Our senior
man.
year, because I've got indoor drumline season going on our senior year, and I'm trying. And speaking of a gold medal, I got me a gold medal
hey,
at the end of that rainbow. That long. Gosh, it seemed.
J. Mike the Leprechaun.
Well, hey dee day dee day dee day dee day dee day dee day. But yeah, I had so much going on that year, man. I had a girlfriend at the time. I've got indoor drumline going on, and I knew we had a really good squad to where we could win our division in indoor drumline championships in Nashville, which is actually where you just got back from.
Just came back from Nashville.
And at Lipscomb University.
Oh, okay.
If any of you know where Lipscomb is in Nashville, and we won our classification. Yeah, we won our classification is the correct term to use there. And then I've got my school classes, and then that deadgum senior project that was a pain in the butt. But what I loved about it is when you finally got everything together. And this is what I hated, man. I was one of the last people to present that day, so I just waited and waited and waited. It seemed like it took forever to me to finally present there at the Bancorp South Arena, which that was pretty cool that we were on like what's normally the stage area and the court or football field,
in that big old
hockey
building
rink that's there right on the there. But you finally got in there, and some of the nicest people that you could imagine that they had found to quote unquote either judge you or grade you, whatever terminology you want to use there, but nice as they can be, it just seemed like they didn't care. They were looking at your appearance and how you just conducted yourself and how you presented, and it seemed like they gave everybody a decent grade. So I ended up getting a 94, and I was proud as heck for it. And then I remember gathering all my stuff, and I'm like, man, this whole time I was worried about it, and I didn't even have to worry about it at all. So yeah, I had a lot going on.
Oh yeah, well,
my senior year, but kudos to those kids for juggling all of that.
Oh yeah,
it seems like at one time, because I know how that can be. Even though once again I did not play sports, but I was in band, indoor drumline, and people know that takes a lot of your time too. And so kudos to these guys for doing well in all of that.
Well, like you said, we want to make this, I like what you said about highlighting. We want this to be a positive show for the local.
And that's what it should be.
Yeah, for local folks. And of course, like we talked about the kids, but also, I mean, we'll mention, of course, coaches and staff that are working with these young men and women. And
yes, but it just seems like the kids, never get the credit when they're the ones on the field doing everything. And so we definitely want to highlight these guys and gals, and we definitely want to interview you. So if any of you are listening to the podcast today, please feel free to reach out to us. And once again, we're going to give you our social media accounts here at the end of the show. But please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to interview you and get to know you and have you on the podcast.
Yeah, or just introduce you to the listeners.
And I definitely have a couple people in mind, Chris, that I'm sure we'll have great conversations with here on the podcast relatively soon, and I look forward to that. But if anyone else is interested, feel free to holler at us. Get back to us, and we'll definitely have you on the show for sure.
Yeah. So,
but definitely looking forward to the next installment of our podcast.
Oh, for sure.
As we continue to grow this thing.
Yeah, you just be on the lookout for it for after that first week of football games. That's when we'll kick it off, and we'll plug it again when we have even more info and more concrete links and stuff. We'll send those out.
And we need a name, people. We need a name. So if you're a regular listener to the podcast, hit us up on social media if you have anything cool. I kind of like this Local Fanatics right now.
Yeah, Local Fanatics, something like that. I mean, I feel like we got to mention North Mississippi somehow, just so that
maybe
people know.
Let's see. NMS Local Fanatics, or as in North Mississippi.
I could see that. Or North Miss Local Fanatics. Something like that. Yeah. I could see. All right. We'll fiddle with it, work with it, see what comes up. But
yeah, if y'all have any ideas, shoot them to us, man.
Yeah, we just wanted to let y'all know that that's coming. So
we want to get our listeners involved too, for sure.
Yeah,
because we sure do appreciate you guys as always for tuning in.
For sure. So yeah, thank y'all for listening to this, and we hope that those of you in the area up here will enjoy checking out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, Chris, and once again, to really showcase these young athletes we have in our surrounding area here in North Mississippi.
All right, well, this is going to end up being a little bit of a shorter episode, but that's okay. We just wanted to focus on the Olympics and that quick announcement we had. But, as always, got to close out with a random page of the day. And today, the random page gave me a fella from Baseball Reference, a pitcher.
A fella, you say?
Yeah, a pitcher by the name of Jeff Austin. Everybody's favorite pitcher. I'm sure you've heard of him before. Probably not.
Sounds like one of those names you would make up, or a teacher would make up before they teach you how to write a letter or an essay in class. Because everybody knows the teacher always uses John Doe
Or
as the name.
a generic player in a EA Sports game or something like that.
I'm just shocked he ain't kin to Stone Cold Steve Austin somehow.
This was before he did wrestling.
Wouldn't that be something?
But he batted right, throwed
What?
right.
What? What you say to me, boy? What?
6 foot tall, 185 pound.
Whoa.
Born October 19th, 1976 in San Bernardino, California. But he played rookie season in 2001 for the Kansas City Royals.
Whoa.
He had 0 wins, 0 losses, and a 5.54 ERA. 26
Wow.
innings pitched.
I figured that ERA would be a lot higher than 5.
Well, in the next year, with 11 innings pitched, still no wins and losses, but he had a 4.91.
Good grief.
Apparently, he came out in small, like short appearances because he played in 10 games that year in 2002. Played in 10 games, but
I was thinking
11 innings pitched. So, like, he'd
Okay.
come out for an inning at a time, basically.
Yeah. Well, I guess I was thinking his first season, he could have been a starter.
No, yeah, he was coming out.
And
Later.
he probably got hit around a lot, and they finally just moved him to the bullpen. But they probably just primarily used him out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
If that's
Well, and like his first season, he had 21 games and 26 innings pitched. So,
okay, so that definitely
however, in 2003, he goes to Cincinnati,
okay.
and they do make him a starter. He starts. He starts 7 games.
I told the future of his career.
Mm-hmm. Started 7 games, but in those 7 games total, he only managed to pitch 28.1 innings.
See, I had that. Okay, once again, that's crazy because I had that in the back of my head that he would have started his career as a starter
That's what usually happens.
and got hit around.
Yeah.
And then they moved him to the bullpen to see if he was be better suited that way, which, like you said, a lot of teams do that. And that's how they end up finding these diamonds in the rough type of relievers.
Yeah.
And so so let's see, his third season,
Yeah.
his last season,
Yeah.
he finally became a starter. That's crazy because that normally doesn't happen like that.
And he had 2 wins and 3 losses. And an 8.58 ERA.
So there it is. Yeah, finally it climbed up to the figure that I was thinking of.
I'm kind of surprised.
So he played for Cincinnati, Kansas City, and who else? Or was it just those two
Just
teams?
those 2. He came up in the Kansas City minor league system.
How you doing, Walt?
Yeah, what's up, Walt?
Walt DeLucic. Shout out, brother. Kansas City Royals.
I'm honestly surprised he got the call up because he did okay in 1999 in like A+ and AA. He had a 3.93 ERA and a 10-3
Yeah.
as a starter.
Oh yeah,
So that's
you'll take that.
But in
But he
2000,
didn't come up that way
well, that's what in 2001.
to the majors anyway.
In 2001, he's in AAA in 2001, right?
Okay.
He's 3-7 with a 6.88 ERA, and they call him up to the majors. I guess for them 1 inning appearances.
Yeah, and another, I'm glad you brought that up, Chris, because another thing that always boggles me is, and once again, it happens. We know those cats playing 162 game schedule, there's going to be a ton of injuries. And of course, now you have this virus and it's putting you on a so-called 10-day IL. And so that positive test is getting you out of there for 10 or so days. And so that's also something that you have to configure with the injuries here. But you'll see a guy that gets called up, and I'm speaking for my Cubs as an example, I've seen, because they really needed starting pitching help at the time that they started to slump to get them back in the thick of things. And, of course, their offense needed to get going too, and it never did. That's why they traded the remaining core away. But they would bring up a pitcher from AAA Iowa, and he would have a phenomenal game, a phenomenal outing. And this is a guy out of the Cubs bullpen that I'm talking about, like a Keegan Thompson,
right,
that a lot of you Auburn fans should recognize because he pitched for the Auburn Tigers here just recently, about a year or two ago. And they bring him up, and I just remembered where he had the bases loaded and strikes out the side from then on out and gets out of it unscathed.
Oh yeah.
But then he gets sent back down to Iowa the next day. And I can't remember if it was an injury related where they called up a position player or what. Now, I don't remember that happening, it being due to an injury, but I seriously think that they called a position player up.
That would make some sense, at least.
The swap out with him. But you're thinking at the time, man, I need pitching. I need to figure out something on the pitching side of it to keep me in the division right now before this first half closes. And you send somebody down like that really got you out of a jam against a team that's red hot right now, by the way, in the Cincinnati Reds. They're, pardon the pun, but they are red hot indeed. They're in Cincinnati. And so it just blows my mind how they come to an agreement of making some kind of weird and questionable decisions like that. But then again, we all know it's part of a business.
Oh yeah, that's one reason I couldn't be a general manager.
Right, and it just really gets your mind going. You know what I mean? About, wow, that guy just had a pretty good outing, and they're sending him back down to the minors.
Yeah,
it just really sucks.
Well, and going forward with this guy, like in 2002, back in AAA for Kansas City, I can see why Cincinnati wanted to maybe make him a starter the next year, because as a starter in AAA, he goes 4-0 with a 3.27 ERA.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's looking a lot better now. Again, when he's back up with the Royals that year, it's not quite as impressive, but he has a 4.91 ERA that year in the MLB.
Oh, wow.
So, it's looking a little bit better.
And, of course, you have Major League scouts not only scouting high school and college level talent for the MLB draft that we touched on here, what was it now, 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did not listen to that podcast, we still have it up on our Sports Fanatics
we do
page there for you to listen. So please feel free to go back and listen to that. But not only are scouts doing that, Chris, they're also evaluating other teams' minor league systems, and they're evaluating major league players on the current rosters, on these current rosters. And you saw that particularly with the trade deadline. That's another podcast that we had. If you'd like to go back and listen to it, where scouts are looking at these major league players to see who they can add to really help them down the stretch run of the long MLB season that we're accustomed to seeing. And so you definitely have that going on as well. So that's obviously what happened there with him. With the Cincinnati Reds scouting department said, "Hey, look, this guy might be a diamond in the rough, and we could convert him into a successful starter maybe."
And in 2003, with the AAA Cincinnati team, he goes 4-2 as a starter with a 4.34 ERA. So not quite as good as the previous year, but they still felt good enough to call him up. And
now, was he with the Louisville Bats? Were they even a team at the time? Because
sure.
The Louisville Bats are, to our listeners, the Louisville Bats right now are the AAA affiliate for the Cincinnati Reds. That's why I'm bringing this up. So I wonder if the Bats were around in 03. It was 03, correct?
Right.
Okay.
2003.
So if he was pitching for them in AAA.
Well, and here's an interesting thing. After his bad 2003 MLB experience with Cincinnati, they send him back down in 2004. His last season he ever played professionally, at least in Major League Baseball system.
Okay.
He's in the minor league for the Reds, and they send him down to rookie ball and single A.
That is one of the strangest things I've ever heard.
Yeah, so he goes all the way down to the bottom where he has a 3.69 ERA.
He still has almost a 4.
Yeah. And he has 4 games started with no decisions that year. Only 31.2 innings pitched. I got to look up to see if I can figure out if something happened to him.
I wonder if he continued playing professionally, quite possibly in Japan.
Right.
Because as you and I know, and I'm sure our listeners know, that you've seen a lot of former major league players continue their careers in Japan.
Right.
And we know Japan's going to throw the money at them.
And why not if you're, being sent back down to freaking rookie league and single A.
Right. But that's just unbelievable how he's had some major league experience and has gone back to AAA, but he gets sent to single A.
I'm going to look up his wiki page, see if it gives me some more information here.
I mean, went all the way down.
In 2003, on May 28th, against the Braves, in what turned out to be his final appearance in the major leagues, Austin gave up 3 consecutive home runs to start the game, only the second time that had happened in MLB history.
It's very ironic that you're bringing this up, Chris, because that seems like what happened to Kyle Davies last night for the Chicago Cubs. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Zach Davies for the Chicago Cubs against the White Sox. The White Sox, yeah, that's it. The White Sox hit 3 home runs off of Davies in just the first inning of the ball game last night on Sunday Night Baseball on ABC. They were on ABC last night.
Okay.
their first ABC broadcast under the ESPN banner. But yet Davies, pitching for the Cubs last night, surrendered 3 home runs in the first inning. So it's ironic that you bring that up after what I saw last night with my Cubs digging themselves to an early grave in that contest against their crosstown rival White Sox last night.
Oh, wow. This dude, so he attended Stanford University.
And Stanford actually produces
Well, I was about to say,
great pitchers.
he was a first-round draft pick in the 1998 draft.
You got to be kidding me.
No. Yeah, first round.
Another former Stanford pitching great that's excellent in the commentating booth, I might add, is Kyle Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Peterson does an exceptional job during college baseball season covering for the SEC and ESPN family of networks.
So in 1998, the Royals had 3 first-round draft picks, and Jeff Austin was one of them. He was their first pick in 1998, 4th overall.
Wow, that's yes, high pick.
He was a
high pick.
2-time captain for the Cardinals.
Okay.
And National Collegiate Player of the Year in 1998.
Whoa.
Learning a lot here. Quickly moved through the Royals minor leagues, as we saw.
But unfortunately, that happens, it seems, with...
Yeah, and the AAA team was in Louisville, 2003.
Okay, I thought so. I thought they were around at the time. But that's unfortunate that you see that a lot here.
Here's what I was waiting for. This is what I was trying to find.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is from an article. I can't speak to this personally, but apparently Stanford pitchers are often overworked in college, according to whoever wrote that. But in 2003, he had to have... In 2003, his season came to an end early, and he had to have a shoulder surgery.
Reminds me of a head coach at Ole Miss right now, overworking his pitchers. Gee, I wonder who his name could be.
So, 2004, that would explain why he went back down to rookie league and high A.
Okay.
To try to, I guess, recuperate.
Yeah.
But I guess the Reds didn't pick him up in 2005, and then he played... Okay. He stayed on the East Coast and pitched for Long Island in the Atlantic League, that independent, pretty big league out there on the East Coast, but of course a small compared to MLB. But pitched 28 games, and that was the last time he pitched professionally, and he retired on July 4th, 2005. Apparently, he now works at Google.
How about that?
In 2008, became a full-time pitching coach at Stanford.
Huh.
And
guess what? They made the College World Series that year. How about that?
Yeah, they finished 3rd.
How about that? So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he had a lot of knowledge to help those pitchers out at Stanford. I'm sure he was the pitching coach, right?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's...
And by the way, I've got all this
phenomenal.
Off of an article on Fansided written by Jen Navis. So, but that was cool. I wanted to dig into it and see. I wondered if he had an injury or something, and that was why he got sent down like that. Okay. So that would explain it.
But, yeah, that reminds me... That was obviously a great one today, Chris. I'm glad you brought that to light, but that reminds me of what Kirk Saarloos has done for the TCU baseball program, where he pitched for the Oakland Athletics in the majors and had a career kind of like that, to where maybe he was kind of up and down, roller coaster ride, never really had long-term stability in the majors. especially not for the A's, but now he has gone back to the college game, and he's done well in the TCU program, where he started out as a pitching coach, really helping, developing, coaching up, I'm sure, great young pitching talent there in Fort Worth, and now he's the head coach at TCU, with Jim Schlossnagle moving on to Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And so obviously we'll be watching with great interest, see what Kirk Saarloos does as a head ball coach, Fort Worth at TCU.
And another part of this is always, how often do you see it, especially in baseball and particularly with pitchers, where guys are working their way up. I mean, it takes some time, but they end up having injuries or whatever that just derail everything, which is unfortunate. But at least
it is.
At least he,
especially a high pick like that, Chris.
Yeah.
First round pick number 4. Gosh, you hate to see those guys never really have the career that the franchise themselves and everybody else in their inner circle envisioned for him.
But at least he seemed to have a good coaching and now career with Google.
Yes.
So that's the.
I mean, I'm sure he's very smart. He went to Stanford.
Yeah, do tech
out
stuff.
of all places. So
that's an interesting story of a fellow by the name of Jeff Austin. What a find. All right, well, that'll wrap us up for today. Thank y'all so much for joining us. I guess we'll close by social media. You can follow Sport Fanatics on Twitter with @SportFanatics, spelled just like the show with no space in between. Where can they catch you, J. Mike?
Yeah, so once again, to follow up on what Chris just said, please feel free and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Sport Fanatics. And if you'd like to send us names about the local show that we're going to do coming up, feel free to do that.
Yeah, hit us up with names or just ideas in general that you'd like to see in something like that.
Exactly. You young athletes that would love to be interviewed and love to be a part of our show, we would definitely love to talk to you and love to have you on the show. Feel free to mention us on the Twitter page there. And you can also do the same on my personal accounts. You can add me as a friend or send me a direct message on the Messenger app that goes along with Facebook. Add me on Facebook there, John Michael McBunch. And then you can send me a DM and feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Both of my handles are the same. It is @J_MikeCheck. So, yeah, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you and would love to interview you and have you on the show.
Yeah, you my personal one is on Twitter @Christopheles11, ChrisTopHoles11. Same goes for me. So, or just shoot me an or whatever. So, yeah, we're looking forward to moving forward with that. And again, thank y'all so much for listening to this show.
Thank you,
y'all
guys.
been. And if y'all didn't listen last week, we had a pre-record episode where J. Mike talked about some of his sports history. Next week, I'll be talking about my sports history. I'd love for y'all to check those episodes out. They were really fun to talk and
yeah, I
listen back to.
I really enjoy doing those, Chris.
Yeah.
And thank all of you for listening to my personal journey. And I hope you all will do the same with Chris's journey in sports.
Yeah.
Coming out pretty soon on a podcast form near you.
Yeah, whatever whatever platform you most like to listen to, that's where we'll be. So, again, thank y'all so much for listening to us. Y'all have a great week.
Talk to you soon, guys.